Hi, Sue. How are you?
Hi, dear Ramona. I'm happy to see you. I'm very well. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be
Awesome.
here.
Before we got on our call here, we were talking about all the animals in the tree
Yes, I have,
behind Sue.
right, this tree of life with all the birds and lions and elephants. And yeah, my life sometimes feels like this wild tree with all these things going on,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot happening all the time. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Which is why you have you attend retreats
Which
because
is why I attend retreats. I'm closing my eyes just thinking about it because
I take myself back there
I'm
now.
taking myself back there right now. Amazing experiences. They have been amazing experiences for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
And you've attended retreats with many different facilitators, and so I'm grateful that you're sharing a little bit of your experience with my retreats.
Mhm.
So first of all, how many retreats have you attended with me?
Um, I don't know, a lot. A lot. And the reason that I keep coming back is because of how amazing I feel,
Hmm.
both leading up to it, the anticipation of the idea of retreating, of withdrawing from my everyday life, all of the demands of my everyday life, and of coming into community and into safe space, into sacred space, which you create so well. And um, every time there has been a retreat listed, like whether you've listed on your website or sent an invitation, they've resonated so deeply because I really, at whatever moment the invitation came, I was like, thank goddess, because I I really had such a need to again withdraw from my everyday life, which is often very demanding, and with work demands and family demands, and trying to balance all of that can be overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
And the retreats have offered this amazing space to really come back to myself
Mm.
and to come into community with other women who are also on their journeys, and they have maybe different struggles than me, but I can see myself
Yeah.
in and I feel reflected in what they share as well.
Mm.
So the the experiences have just been, they've been life changing for sure.
Mm. So,
For
so
sure.
can you speak a little bit more to any challenges or specific desires you had that, I mean, I know you kind of alluded to it, but can you give
Mm.
any specific, experiences that you were like, I need this now because of this?
Oh, yes. There's one in particular retreat you hosted with Paige in Jacksonville,
Mm.
and it was a goddess retreat. And I had been doing a lot of inner work and following you and Paige and the divine feminine work that you do, the goddess work that you do. All of that resonated deeply within me because I could feel that with all the demands in my life, I had kind of set myself aside and I really had focused more on what other people needed,
Mhm.
what my clients needed, what my family needed. And that retreat was an invitation to really go within and find my own strength
Mhm.
for myself, to take time to nurture myself. So that retreat was so nurturing on so many levels, community wise. Like the women that came to that retreat became lifelong friends,
Mhm.
really. Um, and that has had such a great impact on my life, like for years to come, great impact on my life. But I really, I really needed a reset. I had been doing the same kind of thing and getting the same results with lots of different areas for my life, but I was in a very unsatisfactory romantic relationship that had gone on for years that was not truly fulfilling all of my heart. And that retreat brought so much clarity about that,
Yeah.
about what space my heart was in at the time. And when I came, I actually felt heartbroken. truly heartbroken. I felt so sad and felt, maybe I'm not even good at this romantic love.
Mm.
And then you called in the goddesses in that retreat, and one of them was Venus, who's the goddess of love. And I believe it was in one of our yoga sessions. And I love how the retreats are structured, where there are creative things to do, which spark my creative juices. And I feel so excited about that. Then there were body grounding based practices like yoga, for instance. And combined with the yoga was sound healing, which I love so deeply and has such a profound relaxation effect for me. Like it really brings down my nervous system so that I truly decompress. So as I was decompressing from a lot of stressful energy that I came with, I had the revelation in the Venus meditation that there's nothing to seek for. There's nothing that I need to be looking for outside of myself in the way of romantic love. I actually embody that love. And that revelation, like I could read about that. And I had read about that, but until I had that experience of feeling that I am love, it is right here. It's right here. I don't need to get it from anyone else. It doesn't come from outside of me.
Yeah.
That was a true revelation.
Yeah. So
And I ended that relationship.
yeah. Yeah.
I ended that relationship.
Yeah. Well, and so that was the retreat where you and I were roommates.
Yes, we were.
And I remember thinking, oh, I feel like I'm with my sister.
Yes.
It's so
We
great.
did. We would talk and giggle at night and like tell stories before bed. And that was so nurturing also.
Yeah.
I think one of the key components to your retreats that I find over and over again is just how nurtured I feel, like all parts of my being. The nourishing food that you had there, everything was very healthy and high energy, high vibration. The nourishing conversations that we had together, but that we had as a group, as women.
Yeah.
All parts of it were so nourishing for my being that I really left there with a completely different view of myself and of my life. That's big.
Yeah. Well, and that particular retreat was our shortest, and the overall consensus was this needs to be longer.
It needs to be longer. I told you that was my only issue with the retreat is I wanted it to last longer.
Yeah, yeah. And funny enough, like
stretch it out.
Yeah, the three of the women from that retreat were my last group of yoga teacher training. So and it was just the three of you. So that, really truly that lifelong friendship thing is completely possible.
Oh, very.
And I think that also that was amplified because that was in 2020. So it was right before the world shut down. And then we went into having a monthly call with that group of women because we felt like we really just needed it. It was within a month that all of that happened, I think, maybe 2 months, but
2 months.
Yeah. But that's such a magical story. I love it whenever someone can share how they left and it wasn't just a moment where they just kind of like checked out of their life. They checked into themselves.
Right. That is a great way to put it. Yes. I was not leaving, my life behind per se, but I was going toward myself and this inner need that I had for support, for nurturing, for self-understanding and awareness, for awakening. And the beautiful thing about you and Paige collaborating was you were bringing all of your strengths to the experience, and of course the environment was amazing as well. So bringing us to nature, we had these excursions to go to nature and to have these experiences with the ocean and with the sand, and we had meditations on the beach. I love that component as well. So offering experiences to quiet the mind, bring down the stress from in my nervous system so that I was so very, very grounded It was a full moon, you may recall. So there were so many magical components of that. And I know that you're mindful when you plan a retreat. I know that you're mindful of every one of those components. And this is why I have always felt that your retreats are of such high value, is because you have thought of all of these things, the nourishing food, the environment that we're in, the community that you're creating, um, the supportive tools that you taught us. So I had always been a journaler, but you were teaching even more creative ways to journal. So it really boosted so many of the practices that I still do. I still practice them.
Yeah.
And then I can create those retreat experiences, recreate them in my own life intentionally. I can bring them in intentionally, and it's not like it was a one weekend thing and oh, that's over and now I go back to the same way I was. I really actually couldn't go back to the same way that I was behaving before. I couldn't because my perspective had shifted so much.
Yeah.
I yeah, I am just so deeply grateful. Really, really grateful for that. Yeah.
So, what success or breakthroughs have you celebrated after the retreat? Like what things were you able to do that prior to the retreat maybe felt inaccessible? And again, this you understand you've been to many retreats, so I know that it's kind of like we've been kind of just adding layer upon layer upon layer,
building.
whether it was a day retreat or a destinations, overnight experience. So I understand that question is multifaceted, but I'm curious if you can come up with a one big success or breakthrough that happened for you.
That's a great question. I really feel that the overarching theme to all of the retreats that I have been a part of with you is really learning what I need to in my life to be nurtured, cared for, and loved. It really taught, all of them actually have taught me how to love myself better. And that's really priceless because I didn't fully have that understanding before. I really, truly was always looking for ways of how I could love others better. And there was always that outward focus on what others needed. What do they need? What can I help them with? And and it's not the focus was not in um, a self I don't even know the words. It wasn't like in a self-centric way or an egocentric way. It really was a deep spiritual shift to loving and appreciating myself. And that is what created transformation in relationships. Because when I did have that feeling, I actually could say yes to things I loved and felt passionate about and to certain requests or demands. And I could say no lovingly. And before those experiences, I couldn't say no lovingly.
Would you categorize that as a power shift for you?
Oh, 100%. 100%. It empowered me to really know myself better. And so then I could make choices that were actually nurturing and supportive for me. I could make the choices. I didn't have to wait on someone else to be more nurturing to me or to be more supportive of me. I could make choices which were nurturing and which were supportive. And that has helped me in all of those relationships. Some relationships fell away as a result of it because the other person was like, I'm not sure if I like this new way you're being, where you're really tuning into what you need and not what I need. So there were some shifts, but the shifts allow me to see, where do I have equal and balanced relationships? Or where do I have relationships which are unbalanced? And what can I do to help balance myself first and then work toward balancing the relationship?
So I'd like to ask you this question only because I know you're in a different place now compared to 5 years ago. So how does what you experienced in that retreat 5 years ago, and then all of the supplementary retreats afterward, how does that inform how you're interacting in your relationships now?
That's also a great question. something that or a few things that you've taught me through the retreats. One is tuning in. Tuning in, like becoming very quiet within and tuning in to what feels right to me. What feels right within the relationship, what feels right energetically, what even feels right to say. So becoming quiet within and learning how to do that. The other one was honoring. So honoring where your body is, honoring where your spirit is right now. I didn't have that practice before. And now that I have that practice, what it's done is it's helped calm me in the midst of different life challenges. So I am in a new romantic relationship, and I have been for about a year. And there have been things that come up as they do in romantic relationships where I don't always see eye to eye with my partner. And when and I would intentionally pull back and take a pause. That's another one of your teachings. Take a sacred pause and really tune in to what am I actually feeling here? Can I tune into that so that I'm not reactive, but I can respond lovingly? So it's really helped calm down my nervous system in such a way where I'm not as reactive and I can calmly have conversations. Whereas before, fear might have come up and I might be reactive. And now I'm just able to pull back, take a pause, and tune into myself and go, what is really happening here? What's the most important thing here? Am I being loving in this conversation? Am I afraid? Becoming more self aware has helped me be a better partner, a better listener, more in tune with what I need, more in tune with understanding what my partner needs. Because I'm sensitive more. I've dialed my sensitivity into what works for both of us, not just what works for the other person, and what can I do to help the other person be more comfortable, and so therefore have things run smoothly, which was my old way of operating from childhood. And becoming like taking the pause, becoming quiet, honoring my intuition, honoring my inner knowing, all of that has helped me become better at relationships for all the reasons I just listed.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm curious if you could share wisdom or encouragement to a woman that is considering joining a retreat with me and why investing in themselves is important.
Well, I think from the beginning of our chat today, I mean, I think there's such a long list. There's such a long list of gifts that one can receive by saying yes. Yes to the invitation um, to withdraw from the everyday life so that you can see things more clearly. Because it is sometimes challenging to see things clearly when you're right up next to it, like when things are right in your face and you don't have a broader perspective. So the gifts to saying yes to yourself are actually endless. They're endless. They're endless, and I think they actually expand as time goes on. I think the gifts expand. I mean, I've listed a lot of them. I've listed the gifts of self-love, self-awareness, understanding, that tuning in, that it's increased all of my innate abilities as well. So the retreats have helped increase all of my innate high sensitivity. It like turned the sensitivity into sort of a superpower where I didn't feel like it was something that I was too much. I actually can use that to become a more compassionate person. So the ways that it's positively impacting one's life are innumerable. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Again, when you say, because what a woman is really doing is saying, yes, I matter. Yes, I am important. It's important for me to nurture myself, to take care of myself well in order for all the other things to flow more smoothly.
Yeah.
It's vital. It's vital for our well-being because I could see where my life force energy would turn up every single retreat, and it didn't turn down. It wasn't like, and that's what I meant. It wasn't like it turned up for the weekend and then I would come back home and then I would come dim again. No, I was seeing things differently. So just that alone, the opportunity to change your perspective
Mm-hmm.
in a really big way with people who are nurturing and supportive and encouraging and kind, that's priceless. It really, you can't put a price on it, really.
And I love that you use that statement, change your perspective, because that's really my intention when leading someone through a destination retreat. Because we're in the grind, we're in the day to day, we're in the hustle, we're in the mundane, right? And so when you put yourself into an environment that is inviting and nurturing, but also challenging you
Mm-hmm.
to awaken things
Mm-hmm.
that need to be given attention, you have the space to see the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I love your share. I love spending time with you, obviously. We've
Me
spent
too.
a lot of time together. Sue is actually one of my mentors at one point in time. So we've kind of played this shifting
Helping
of
each other.
roles with each other throughout our entire relationship. So I'm very grateful for you. I'm grateful
I'm
to
so
always
grateful for you.
be in communion with you. And you always bring something to anything that I'm sharing, even if you're a participant, that just helps bring more awakening. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure and an honor,
Yeah.
Ramona, to collaborate with you and to be a um, part of the amazing creative and awakening work that you're doing. It's wonderful.
Mm.
So I'm
Thank you.
grateful. Thank you.
Well, I always close my practices with a very specific mantra. So I'm going to close our time here today with this. The light in me loves, honors, and cherishes the light within you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.